So recently, I decided to compare again, how much money you can make with Skip the Dishes versus Uber Eats during this lockdown period. And I got to tell you, man, it's still the same thing. It's still the same comparison, right? Skip the Dishes, generally, a lot of people tip more. The orders can, range from, you know, $5 6 to sometimes 20 or more, depending on how much tip the person adds, right? But people generally tip more with Skip the Dishes. Now, another thing I noticed is that if you decide to put both on, you'll really discover that there are times where Skip the Dishes takes more time for you to get new orders. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of dead time. It's a lot of dead period where you're waiting for an order. Versus if you have Uber Eats app on, where you just keep getting orders back to back, even though they're not as much as the comparison in numeric or in dollar value to the Skip the Dishes, you could get like a $20 order and get like a dead time for like 30 minutes, and then you get another like 15 or $10 order. Whereas Uber Eats, even if it's go, you're gonna get like $5 order, $6 order. Maximum I've ever gotten from Uber Eats at a time is like $10 or $12 13 max. But Skip the Dishes, the maximum I've gotten so far is like $24. Now I'm talking about added tips included in the total fare. Okay, so you can see that there's a huge difference in the profit margin per trip that could be gotten from Uber Eats versus Skip the Dishes. Now, I don't know why people tend to not tip more with Uber Eats versus Skip the Dishes, but I'm just saying stuff that I've observed, and so far that has been the trend here in Toronto while I'm doing both, because I usually put both apps on. So I'll encourage anybody that does Skip the Dishes to find a way to sign up with Uber Eats as well. You got to do both, simultaneously. When Uber Eats is slow or Uber Eats you're not getting any orders, put on the Skip app and try to see the relativity and income from both. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping you from doing both. So I'd suggest that you try to do both and increase your revenue. It's about being efficient and you're working with time. Time is money. So if you're sitting, on dead time with Skip the Dishes, you got to find a way to make the money in that dead period, which is turning on your Uber Eats app, getting an order going. Even though you're gonna get a skip order possible, and you might get a skip order while you're finishing, or while you're doing completing the Uber Eats order. It's okay, a 5 minute or a few minutes delay before you start the skip order is not going to be a major setback. Okay, you gotta figure out how to be efficient with it. Now, I'm not saying take 10-20 minutes before you go do the skip order when you already accepted it, but if it's less than 5 minutes in between where you're finishing up that Uber Eats order, and then you turn off the Uber app immediately you finish, so you don't get another order, or you stop orders from coming into the Uber Eats, so you can go back to focus on doing the skip order. Now I'm talking about if you are doing Skip the Dishes, you have to set a time frame. Even when you pick up open shifts, is between a time to a time. So there are times in those schedules where you're gonna have dead time. I don't know why that happens, like I said, but you're going to have dead time sometimes, and you have to find a way to make it work, be efficient. So this is a tip that I'm sure will benefit you if you have a G license and if you have the ability to do both, sign up for both platforms. There's nothing, just the same way I signed up for Uber and Lyft, because there's sometimes I'm not getting orders from Lyft depending on where I am. I put on the Uber app, or I put on both until I get an order from one of them. You know what I mean? So it's you got to find a way to be efficient in everything you're doing in life, and this is one of the ways to be efficient. Don't put your eggs in one basket. Diversify your ability to earn. Diversify your ability to get orders or get fares. You know what I mean? In this business, you got to be efficient. Time is money. Okay, so I hope that this video has been able to shed some light into how you can be more efficient as a food courier. I've not tried the other ones. I believe there is DoorDash and Foodora. I haven't tried those platforms, so I can't really speak on those platforms. I'm telling you or giving you these tips from the ones that I have tried, which are Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes. Okay, so that is something you should consider to maximize your profit margin. Generally, I believe that in a 3-hour shift, with Uber Eats, you might be able to make an average of maybe $60 max, depending on the tips too. The tips vary, but $50 to $60. But in a 3 hour skip the dishes shift, it varies on what area you're in. But in a 3 hour period, I've been able to maximize $60 to $70. You know what I mean? So it's like, even though, like, I'm doing skip the dishes sometimes, and it's a dead period, I make up for it, that 30 minutes that is going to be dead, at an Uber Eats, and end up moving my profit margin from $60 sometimes to $70, $80, $90 sometimes. You know what I mean? Because once that dead period is done, they're gonna give you another order, and you just keep going from there. Turn off the Uber app. You just go. If you're giving yourself 3 hours to make money, make sure you're making money in all those 3 hours. You know what I mean? Because after a while, they're gonna want to give other drivers in the area opportunity to earn. So they might take away orders from you to give to other people, and in that time, you gotta make sure it counts. If you're setting 4 hours, and like recently, it used to be 3 hour blocks and skip the dishes, but I realized that now, I hadn't done it in a long time, but now it's 4 hour block times. If you're picking up shifts or if you're setting shifts, they usually put it at a 4 hour block now. So it's like, you gotta make sure you're maximizing your earning potential. Once again, it's King K. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow my channel. Okay, I'm going to be bringing you guys more tips on earning. I'm going to give you guys more ideas and, Uber ideas and like just ways to make money. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.